So my name is Ethan. I'll be the student nurse practitioner for you today. Can you tell me your name and date of birth?
Hannah Connors, November 5th, 1998.
Awesome. So what we're going to be doing today is we've got two assessments that we're going to do that are going to basically encompass your neurological assessment. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to assess your cranial nerves, which you've got 12 of those, which we'll go through and talk through as we do them. And then we've also got to do an assessment of your deep tendon reflexes, which you've got 5 of those, which we'll assess once we get there. So for starters, what we'll do is we will test your first cranial nerve, which is your olfactory cranial nerve. And so I'm going to get you to close your eyes, and once you close your eyes, I'm going to give you something to smell, and you're going to tell me what it is. Okay? So the first thing, go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to open it, and you're going to smell it.
Honey.
Honey, yep. So that is honey. So what that tells us is that your olfactory nerve is intact because you were able to smell correctly. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to test your optic nerve. And so the optic nerve is, there's 2 ways that we're going to test it, 2 parts that we're going to test of it, which is going to be, the first one's going to be for your visual acuity, which is going to be where we actually get you to do a Snellen chart test. And then the second way is we are going to test your peripheral vision, okay? And so we're going to start with testing your peripheral vision first. And so what you're going to do is you are going to cover your right eye, and so you don't have to press on it, but cover your right eye. I'm going to cover my left eye, and what you're going to do is you are going to focus that eye on this eye, okay? And so I'm going to put my hand out in your peripheral vision and put out a number, and you're going to tell me what number that is, okay?
Okay.
All right.
2.
All right.
3.
All right.
5.
There you go. All right, now we're going to switch. So there you go. Now focus on my left eye, okay? We're going to do the same thing.
4.
All right, now we're going to do it again, but you're not going to look. You're going to look right in this eye. All right, one more time. All right.
2.
All right, try one more time.
3.
There you go.
4.
All right,
5.
there you go. All right, good job using peripheral vision. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a Snellen chart to assess your visual acuity. And so we have one that is graded for 6 feet, but what this is going to show us is if as you go down, it's going to show you what amount of feet that you can see in comparison to someone who can see good at 20 feet. Okay? So what you're going to do, this is about 6 feet away. I think I'm still on the camera. There you go. This is about 6 feet away. I want you to do this 4th line right here where my finger's at. Tell me what it says.
OLCF.
That's correct. Now we're going to do this one.
LTFPH.
Perfect. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to cover your left eye, and I want you to read this one.
DHJBS.
All right, and this one,
OFDHJ.
and this one.
LTFPH.
Now switch eyes for me. All right. I want you to start right here.
EPTZO.
All right, and then this last one.
LTFPH.
All right. And so my Snellen chart only goes to 20/20, but it can go further, showing that you have maybe 15/20 vision. So you show that you have 20/20 in both the left and the right eye, as well as both eyes together. So that is your optic nerve, and so that is for your visual acuity and your peripheral vision. The next one, we're actually going to test 3 different nerves that all have to do with eye movement. And so the first one is going to be your oculomotor, which is your 3rd cranial nerve. Then we're going to work on your trochlear nerve, which is going to be your 4th. And then we're actually going to go to the 6th nerve, which is actually your abducens nerve. And this all have to do with eye movement, okay? And so what you're going to do, the first thing we're going to test is just to see how well you can follow. So you're going to look at this pin right here with both eyes, but what you're going to do is you're not going to move your head at all. You're just going to follow it to where the pin goes. Do not move your head. What we're going to be looking for is to see if there's any involuntary shaking of the pupils of the eyes, or if you're able to basically follow it with both your eyes being together. So, all right, so you're just gonna follow with your eyes, do not move your head. All right, so there's no movement of the head, both your eyes followed equally, and so that's a good sign for those nerves. The next thing that we're gonna do is I'm going to have this pin right here, and you're going to look at it and you're going to follow it as I move towards your nose. Okay, so you're not going to move your head at all again. You're just going to follow with both eyes. We're looking for your eyes to both equally and at the same time cross towards your nose. So here we go. There we go. And so both of them cross, that's perfect. And now the next thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to go and turn the lights off just to have your eyes and your pupils open to let more light in so that we can assess your pupils, whether they're round, reactive to light. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those lights off real quick. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at this finger right here, focus on this finger, and I'm going to shine a light in both eyes. So focus right here. All right. And so they're both round, about 3 millimeters. All right, there you go. Constriction. One more time. Constriction. All right. So what this is showing us is that your eyes are perla, which is your pupils are round, reactive to light and accommodate. So that is your third, fourth, and sixth nerves, which is your oculomotor, your trochlear, as well as your abducens. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test your fifth cranial nerve, which is actually your the trigeminal one, which this one is in reference to your mastification and really your jaw and everything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to clench your teeth. So when I tell you to clench your teeth, I'm going to feel of the muscles that are up here in your temple region as well as right here. Okay, so go ahead and clench your teeth. I'm going to feel these muscles right here, open, clench. There you go. One more time. There you go. Perfect. Now what you're going to do is you are going to, another way we can test it, is you are going to actually push down against my hand and open your jaw. Okay, so push down. There you go. And so the fact that you can show, like you can actually go against that resistance is a good sign of your fifth trigeminal. And so while we're here, we're also going to jump to our cranial nerve 7, which is your facial nerves. And so here it's the cranial nerve 7 is the one that affects all your facial muscles, smiling, frowning, those type of things. So go ahead and blink your eyes a couple times for me. Now I want you to close them as much as you can, as hard as you can. There you go, real tight. Now what I want you to do is smile. Now I want you to frown. Now I want you to blow your cheeks up. Perfect. So shows that your facial nerves are intact and working fine because they were all equal. There's no droopiness to your eyes or droopiness to any side of your face or anything like that. The next one that we're going to do, we are going to actually do your vestibular cochlear, which is it's basically all to do with hearing. And so what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to cover this right ear and make it where you cannot hear. And I'm actually going to step this way and whisper something, and you're going to tell me what I'm saying. Okay? So,
Rocket ship.
rocket ship. Okay, now switch.
Oklahoma.
Beautiful. So, what that's showing is that that nerve is intact. You're able to hear. You're able to use those nerves. Okay. The next one is going to be your hypopharyngeal, glossopharyngeal nerve, which is your ninth nerve. And this has a lot to do with the back of your throat, your uvula, as well as your swallow and your gag reflex. Okay. And so, because you are pregnant, and I know you are pregnant, I'm not going to try to elicit a autoimmune. I'm not going to try to elicit a gag reflex just because I know you're struggling with that, and I do not want you to throw up all over me. I know that your gag reflex is working. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to get you to open real wide, and I'm going to shine a light in here. I'm going to look at your uvula. I want you to say ah. Say it one more time. Beautiful. And so because you're able to, when you do that, I'm actually seeing your uvula equally on both sides go up. and it's not tilted either way. I can see that your ninth cranial nerve, which is your glossopharyngeal, is intact and working. We would also try to elicit a gag reflex from you if we didn't have the situation that you're in now. So the 10th one is your vagus nerve, and so because you're able to talk to me clearly, as well as I've seen that you swallowed as we've been talking, that shows that vagus nerve is also intact. The 11th, which is going to be your accessory nerves, is basically, it's going to assess kind of some of the muscles in the neck, the movement of the neck, as well as your shoulders. And so what I want you to do is I want you to basically shrug your shoulders against resistance, okay? So I'm gonna hold this, I want you to shrug your shoulders, there we go. Now I want you to turn your head left and right, there you go. And so I want you to now go against my hand, there we go, again. All right, now go back left, and I want you to go against it. Go that way, go against it. Beautiful. So that's showing that your accessory nerves is intact as well. This last one is your hypoglossal, which is your 12th nerve. And I'm just going to get you to stick your tongue out as far as you can and just move it left to right. Beautiful. So that's showing me that your tongue muscles and your hypoglossal nerve is intact. Okay. So those are your 12 cranial nerves. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to assess your deep tendon reflexes. So you've got 5 of those. We are going to start with your bicep deep tendon. And so the way that I'm going to assess that is I'm going to get you to flex your arm so I can find it. So kind of flex right there. Keep my finger right there. Now I want you to relax it, just lay it in your lap. And so what we're looking for is a little bit of bicep flex, as well as kind of a reaction from your wrist kind of coming up, okay? So I'm going to try to hit it kind of briskly and kind of let it bounce back. So there we go. So we're seeing it move just a little bit. Now we're going to do your tricep deep tendon. I'm going to let you kind of flex that for me so I can find it. There we go. All right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to let you relax this arm, kind of let it hang, and we are going ahead, and this should kind of flex your tricep muscle as well, kind of pull this arm up a little bit. Okay, so just release it, relax it. Turn it this way. There we go. And so we can see that arm's coming back and it's flexing just a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So the next one that we're going to do is closer to your forearm, so closer to your hand actually. And so this one is your brachioradialis, okay? And so I didn't say it earlier, but what we're seeing with these nerves is it's testing the neurons in your spine, making sure they're intact. And so this one, which is your brachioradialis, actually tests to see C5 through C6, as well as your bicep, which sees C5 and C6. Your tricep is actually testing C7 through C8. And so this is again going to test your C5 through C6. Okay, so I'm going to find a little nodule right here. I'm going to get you to flex your forearm so I can kind of find it. Now we're forgetting how to flex your forearm. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so this is going to elicit a little bit of forearm flexion as well as just pulling this wrist up. Okay, so there we go. And so we're seeing that move up. We're seeing a little bit of flexion here. That shows that it is intact. Okay. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to move to your patellar. I'm actually going to take a seat so I can get down there and do that. This is going to be actually testing your L2 through your L4. Okay. So I'm going to sit down right here. And what I'm going to do, it's a little bit easier to find. And we are going to just tap it. And what we're going to expect is for this leg to kind of pop up just a little bit. And so with all of these, we don't want it to be hyperflexive where it's just kind of kicking all the way through the roof. So this is your patellar. There we go. One more time. Beautiful. So that's showing that your L2 to your L4 is intact. And the last one that we are going to assess is your Achilles deep tendon, which is obviously right here above this heel. This is going to show us your L5 to your S5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to kind of flex this foot up a little bit so I can find that tendon. All right, and so that tendon's right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come this way just a little bit so I can access a little bit. And I'm going to hold this, and we're going to expect this to go down for us, okay? And so here is your tendon, and I'm going to tap it. There we go. We can feel it go down just a little bit. And so we're expecting it to go down just a little bit. So there we go. So those are your deep tendon reflexes, as well as your cranial nerves. And so that is the assessment of all of those. And we went through the normal findings for them, as well as some of the findings that would not be considered within normal limits. So that is the neurological assessment.